from Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. Hey, we're on YouTube too. So, good evening. We're letting folks jump on. Everybody's waiting for the Alabama game. I think that's tonight, right?
I think so.
That's where they throw the ball and they run it and stuff like that.
Sports.
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose support if we go too far down
No,
that
roll
rabbit
tide. Roll tide.
hole. Yeah. Oh, we got a few folks jumping on, guys. Oh, we're not we're not gonna start with all that. Um,
Where do you
yeah.
want to start, Michael?
Well. So first, I want to start with a share. So everybody, hit that share button, and let's get a few folks, and we'll talk. It's been a long day, huh? You've been working hard today.
It's been a long day. Been working hard.
All right.
Been working hard over at the airport, the Gadsden Airport that's in question here.
Yep.
I've already pre-warned Michael. I'm full of caffeine, and I just can't make any guarantees. So I'm not a politician. Michael's not a politician.
So we've been talking about a lot of. I'm gonna turn this down. This looks like. Are we really loud? All right. So this one I wanted to just get on and talk about who kind of we are. Where did this Facebook group come from? And what's going on? I've heard some discussion about other people being, behind, paying to make this group come about and all this kind of stuff. And I want to lay that to rest. Like Jonathan said, we're not politicians. We're goofballs that are on the internet, I guess. And you're busy building a paint business, aircraft painting and paint scheme design business. So let's jump in with the opposition group. You created that.
Correct.
In the very beginning, right?
In the very beginning. So I think like a lot of people that got involved in this really early, we know that it was the ATEM permit that was released that kind of threw up the red flag for this whole thing that started back in November. I think it was like November 22nd or something. And like most of you on here, I saw that little bit of information on Facebook. It was posted the night before, and they were talking about a Gadsden Airport Authority meeting the next day. And so the power of Facebook, we go to show up and see what's going on, and a few people on the airport had asked me if I was going. So we showed up, and there was, probably close to 100 people there that showed up. Nobody was allowed inside. We didn't really know what was going on. And that was the first day that was the first day I'd ever met Christy and a lot of the people that are now household names of this project. So really, as somebody who had a business less than a half mile, probably even a couple hundred yards away from the proposed site, of course, I'm extremely concerned. I've worked my entire adult career to build a business, and now somebody's coming in that could potentially harm it.
And because I don't think we've really talked about, like we haven't. So earlier we were talking with a couple small business owners from the area. We've talked to some big business owners. I don't think we've really talked about the business that you have over there. And what is the impact of this plant, and why do you not want it as a neighbor, basically?
So there's a lot of reasons, but I'm not going to go on too much of a tangent.
Yeah.
Initially, for me, and the biggest concern is, and I've tried not to focus on the smell or the trucks or anything like that, but as an airport advocate and someone who has a business at the airport, my gravest concern is the lack of foresight, the short-sighted decision of using what I consider to be some of the most valuable property on the Gadsden Airport is being used for something that it definitely should not be used for.
Right.
I'm 32. I've got a business I've been building for 12 years. I've put everything I've got into it.
Including pretty much every minute of every day.
7 days a week. I've got no wife. I've got no kids. I mean, I've really sacrificed
you can tell
everything for this. Exactly, yeah. I've sacrificed everything for this business, so of course I'm concerned. Um, and my thinking is I'm going to be on the airport authority in a few years. I'm going to be someone that's helping to work and grow and develop the airport, and I don't want to be stuck with a piece of property that I can't do anything with, or a business that impedes future growth. So for me, I'm looking 10, 20, 30 years down the road when I'm in the position that the leadership is now.
Gotcha.
So I know that doesn't cover much of what we do as a business, but that's
So one
my
big
biggest
thing
concern.
I want to hit on this that's not anything to do with the smell or anything like that, but so you paint airplanes, some very small, some fairly decent size, but guys, and just so you know, the background that we have, uh, Jonathan and I worked together at International Jets back when it was a business on the airport. And I learned a lot about aircraft painting and learned to appreciate the craftsmanship that these guys do. The big thing is you're moving a lot of air. Like it's not like an automotive, a small car booth that you can roll in and control stuff. I mean, when you're dealing with something the size of an airplane, you're moving a lot of air through that. And so,
Right.
what kind of feedback are you already hearing or possibilities that you're getting with some of that stuff?
So that is true. So our paint booth, the size of it is the booth is bigger than most body shops in their entirety. So when we're talking aircraft, we're talking big jets, we're talking really substantially sized stuff. And in order to paint that, we've got 3 to 4 painters in the booth at one time. So we've got a big space. We've got a lot of paint, a lot of fumes, a lot of VOCs to pull out and extract and filter through the back of the paint booth. So we're pulling a ton of fresh air. And like Michael's probably trying to get to is our paint reps. We've already been talking to them and our manufacturers, and they're concerned that, you know, even if it's not a smell, the vapors that this place is going to put off, they're going to have fats, they're going to have contaminants. So obviously, clean air pulling through our facility is going to be very important to us. And we do really incredibly high end paint jobs. We don't want to have any kind of contaminants in the paint. We've got multi-million-dollar jets sitting there, and the last thing that guy wants is to take off and for the paint to start peeling off of it. So,
So
small concern.
that's a very, I mean, guys, there's a lot of different, a lot of different tangents, a lot of different angles to talk through that. But I wanted to get that one, because that's something that a lot of folks aren't even, I wouldn't have thought about until I got into, working at IJ and kind of understanding the paint process. Yeah, especially when you're talking about aircraft paint jobs, and they are not cheap, and people expect high end, and you are a high end shop. So
We are. Yeah.
so that, I mean, y'all take that for what it's worth, in terms of what it means. But certainly, it's like you said, you're young enough that if you had to, you could pack up and move to another airport, but you certainly don't want to because you've
Certainly don't want
invested.
to.
Yeah, you've invested a lot into being here. So, all right. So we had the question about that meeting. Was that at the EMA 911 building or 911 building? That meeting.
The original meeting
Yeah,
was
original
at
meeting.
the
Okay.
was at that building. Yes.
When did you start the group?
We started the group the next day or even over the
Okay.
weekend. Yeah. So
Okay.
all that happened pretty quickly. I initially, Christy was invited into that airport authority meeting. She came out, gave everybody a really nice update. I just happened to grab my phone, do a video of her talking the first time that she kind of came up and updated everybody on the situation and what was going on. And basically, I didn't know what I could offer, but the one thing I did know about was social media and Facebook, right? I
Because you're a young guy,
I'm a
and
young
guys
guy.
do that social media stuff, right?
So and for my entire career, we've utilized and leveraged Facebook and marketing to build the business. So yeah, so I said, hey,
Okay.
I can do Facebook. Facebook is what I can do. And so just really quickly to run through it. At this point, Michael had not jumped in quite yet, but I think he sent me a text and he goes, "Hey man, I think you're gonna need some help." And I was like, "Nah, I think I'm all right. We got it for now." Well, a week later, we had 3,000 members, all local members, and we were filtering a couple
Yeah.
hundred posts a day. It was a very wide net, very fast. It started to grow, started to build a lot of momentum. And a lot of people were concerned for the same reasons we were. The initial is, why didn't we know about it? What's going on? Everybody was asking tons and tons of questions. And I'm sure as everybody has been following this through the entirety of the process, you've seen that it's grown and developed, and we're starting to put the pieces together. We're filling in the blanks.
Yep.
So I know in the beginning it was a wide net. You're either on one side of the fence or the other side of the fence. We kind of, email everybody call everybody text everybody and that's really what gave this movement the attention that it needed, right? The urgency that it needed. And so even if you weren't aware of it before that first week, you were definitely aware of it at the end of the week.
Yeah.
So the mission was accomplished. And then basically from there, I'm like, Michael, I need some help. So Michael jumps in with me.
We did the live at the Southside group, which I think that night, that first one, we had, I think about 200 people in the audience and about 600 or 700 people online, something like that. Some pretty big numbers. So it was obvious. And by that point, I'm starting to listen more and understand how big a deal this is. Because initially because I have a special place in my heart for the airport. But then I start hearing, this is something I need to, this is, because I live a mile and a half from here in Rainbow City. This is a big deal. And talked with, that was the first night I met the Chadwicks and Christy and all that kind of stuff, and I threw out some ideas because I'm an opinionated person, and that's the way I am. And they said, well, how much does that cost, getting a website together and all that? So they pretty much they paid for throwing the website together and getting the Facebook page and the YouTube. But since then, I think we all kind of fell into, this is something that is critical to do. And so it's all been, this was my day off. Not your day off, because you don't have days off. So you're struggling to keep all those clients happy while things go. But that's kind of the business. But we have not paid for people to come into this group. We've done a few paid Facebooks, and I don't want to get too much into, for those of you, it'll probably get a little boring with how some of this Facebook and YouTube stuff works. I know a lot of people are kind of worried about the YouTube pre-roll commercials. We're both well aware that that's a thing. We know how to execute those as well. I know Seth Richardson has commented and reached out and taught. He does a lot of creating that content with his video production. And from everything I've seen, the video that he created for us is phenomenal. And we're talking through when's the right time, what are the right things to spend that money on. This growing Gadsden thing that has come about. I know people tend to be freaking out about the ads in the Gadsden Times. And I think I've made mention, when I start seeing a single positive comment on anything that they post, I'll be worried.
I want to be very, very clear about all that. So I have not taken a single dollar, period, to do the Facebook. I don't want to. No Venmo or anything. I don't want any money. I want to make that very clear, though, that this movement is grassroots. This is concerned people. I'm a concerned business owner that's right next door. I know how to use Facebook. And the fact that I have no idea how much Pilgrim's Pride is paying their PR firm to advertise and try to even get a drop in the bucket of the same support that we're getting for the opposition. It's a lot of money. Trust me.
Yes.
If I was the PR firm and you're listening to this, I'd be embarrassed, to be quite frank. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well,
but like I said, I'm hyped up on caffeine and I can't help myself. But the deal is, this is a grassroots movement. This is concerned people. This is your neighbors. These are people that are here in town. We're trying to do the best with what we've got. And we're so fortunate that we've got a great team across the board for every aspect of this. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And that's really kind of what I wanted to jump on here and talk about, is that this is because some people I'm hearing, oh, that this is some paid for movement, and that the 80, what are we up to, 8,100 something people in the group. Yeah, it's just this. It is a local organic movement, and it is a bunch of people in Etowah County that are paying attention, and a lot of people that have put in a lot of hard work to figure out what's going on, and try to disseminate the information as well as we can. We don't have fancy animated videos. We have some shoddy video work from me. We do have one great video from Seth. But we're trying to do the best we can to get that information out there, and I just want that clear. You know, some have accused us of playing politics, and the reality is couldn't be further from the truth.
And after this, I can guarantee you I will not be getting into politics.
You sure you're not going to announce running for?
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe that's the next live.
But let me take a look and see. I didn't want to spend a big long time. I know you've got.
I've got to get back to it.
Yeah, you got to get back to work.
And like I may need to get off here before I get too ramped up. I'm excited today, guys. It's Monday. I'm fired up.
Okay.
Had a little time to rest this weekend, so.
So here's one. Can Jonathan talk about his background? Where is he from? How did you guys end up in Etowah County?
Good question. So I've always lived in Etowah County. I was born at Gadsden Regional. My parents from Altoona. I've always lived in Altoona. When I graduated from West End High School, I went to Gadsden State Community College for automotive collision repair, and that's actually where I got into aviation. So I got my first job there at the Gadsden Airport in 2008.
And you've been there, stuck in the aviation world all
ever
along.
since. Yeah.
But you love it, right?
I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out his website, and I'm sure at some point, I think once all this is over, and I'm gonna throw you under the bus here. I think once all this is over, you've talked about throwing a little shindig at the hangar.
So, I'm an optimist by nature. I've always been an optimist. That I'm so confident and positive that this problem is going to go away and we're going to continue to move forward. And this is another subject too. So Michael and myself both, and a lot of other people too, we've openly admitted that we were not paying enough attention before. When this is over, I'm not done. I'm not going to run for political office, but I'm going to be involved. I'm going to be a lot more involved in the community. And so when this is over, yeah, Michael's trying to, maybe we'll have a shindig at the airport. We'll do kind of maybe a little grill out, cookout thing there. And after all this COVID is over and everybody's been vaccinated,
we gotta
and
figure
we can
out
get together.
all that stuff. But I don't want to sign them up for anything. But but guys, yeah, I want to just pile on. We've had discussion today about our organic training for job skills, the potential, the capabilities that we have here in Etowah County. And when I met Jonathan, I mean, so coming from being an active duty Navy guy and seeing, I mean, I've worked with some phenomenal sailors that have incredible work ethic. I've also worked with some sailors that didn't have such great work ethic. That's the Navy, but for the most part, you got a lot of folks out there in the military that get up and work pretty hard every day. And I came, and I mean, him and actually a few others in that paint shop blew my mind. They are incredible guys and a testament to what is in the realm of possible. When you put your head down, you do the hard work, the right opportunities come along. And that's what encourages me to see this, and why I guess I get a little passionate about the discussion of what can we do internally. What can we do with the resources that we already have? I mean, we have some incredible capabilities
So
around Etowah.
I do want to talk about that a little bit because
Okay.
as somebody who graduated from Gadsden State, um, got a full paid scholarship. The technical program there was great. Um, Most of our employees have graduated from Gadsden State, so there are training programs available in town. I know
Mhm.
they've got automotive mechanic. I think they've got heating and cooling programs. I mean, there's a lot of people getting trained at Gadsden State that it's already happening.
Right.
And we've hired a lot of people, and some of the guys that still work for me, I went to school with at Gadsden State, so it's there.
Well, Charles, yes, Navy only knows gray paint. That is true. Although, um, I've had some pretty awesome custom paint scheme jets out there in the Navy that I've seen. I won't get into that. My wife would like to point out that I'm not running for anything either. That is 100% true. I am too opinionated, and I say the wrong things, and I don't know how to spell commerce.
That
So
was Michael, by the way. I'm gonna
that was all
throw
me.
that out there.
That was all me. But anywho's.
I don't know how long we want to keep everybody on here tonight,
Yeah,
but that's a quick.
I think that's that. Hopefully, guys, that gives you some idea of kind of who we are, what our role in this is. We're going to continue trying to work this Facebook thing. I've been, giving Christy a hard time about writing up too much and doing some more video content. And I think she's very much enjoyed seeing the value that can come from this. A lot of folks aren't real big fans of turning on a camera, but we're going to keep pushing that. And here's ultimately what we're trying to do with all of this is to build a platform that we can inform people about as much information as possible. Now, obviously, we have decided that the rendering plant is a bad idea, and we do not want the rendering plant. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you, if somebody can come and wants to give me some good facts and try to persuade me that I'm wrong, like I would love to have that conversation, because I think a lot of us are feeling the frustration is who's for this thing? What are your arguments? Because it just seems like every time we sit down and have a conversation about any arguments for this, it's very quickly countered with a whole bunch of reasons why it's not good. But again, I mean, if Pilgrim's Pride wants to come on here, or anyone from the city that thinks it's a good idea, like I'd love to have those conversations, because I mean that's what America is meant to be, is where we can have conversations, and then we can vote, or we can vote in or vote out people that will represent us. So that's what I view. Whatever you want to call us, media guys, I don't even know the term for it. But we need to have some hard conversations. Right now with the rendering plant, I don't think they're all that hard, to be honest with you. But I'd love to see us, really talk about where we want to go.
Great segue. I know we were headed on our way out, but to complete the social media cycle, just to explain how we got the Advanced Etowah page set up, because I think that's important. We need to touch on that really quick.
Yep.
As this began to build, and we were getting thousands of people and all this interaction, we're like, this is something bigger than this opposition. So we set up Advanced Etowah very quickly, because that is the next step for this process.
Right.
So if you haven't already, jump off of here, go like the Advanced Etowah page. We're not updating it as much as the opposition, because we've got a lot of stuff on the opposition group to keep up with. But once this is over and behind us, we want to continue to develop plans and keep the conversation going. And the Advanced Etowah page is going to be the platform for that once we're past all this. But yeah,
that does it.
That's all I got.
Any other questions? I guess we'll see you in the comment section. I know most of you will probably be heads down watching some Alabama football this evening.
I see those Jonathan for Gadsden Mayor comments, and I don't know. Who knows? 2 months ago.
Oh, you sound like a politician.
2 months ago, I didn't. I had no idea I'd be doing this. So who knows? 2022. Well, I mean, we'll see when we get there, I guess.
That's you. You sounded more and more like a politician.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Would you vote for Jonathan? Yes or no?
Yeah,
in the
I
comments.
need to see a little support from you guys.
All right,
I'm
guys.
kidding.
Y'all have a good night. Seriously, thanks for those that have tuned in with us. As you see folks hopping in, joining this group, asking questions, if you can find them, get them, find some of these videos. All this stuff is over on our YouTube channel as well. Maybe easier to send them there, and they can take a look and watch and consume and get some of the questions answered. So, all right, guys. Oh, I'm seeing lots of yeses.
I know. I'll get it.
All right.